Hey, good morning, class. Today we're going to do lesson 2 of our human factors training program, which is a case study and role-specific application. So, welcome to lesson 2. If you remember in lesson 1, we talked about the dirty dozen and the human factors. So this is kind of a continuation of that. So, limitations related to human capabilities such as fatigue, stress, communication are called human factors. Having a comprehensive understanding of human factors is crucial for aviation mechanics. Why? We want to reduce any chance for error. Human factors are a contributing element to many aviation-related mishaps. Long shift hours, strenuous working conditions, and a fast-paced work environment makes avoiding mistakes challenging. Okay, so if you're working in the cold, you're working in the heat, the desert, the rain, whatever, that can stress you out, that can cause fatigue, that kind of stuff can be a precursor for errors. Also, fast-paced work environment. You have to get the aircraft fixed in a quick, timely manner that, trying to fly the aircraft and meet tight deadlines. That can cause, leave the door open for errors potentially. To illustrate the importance of human factors, we're going to examine Air Midwest Flight 5481. So, Air Midwest Flight 5481 was a Beechcraft commuter aircraft that took off flying to Charlotte, North Carolina. And tragically, shortly after takeoff, the aircraft crashed, and the 19 passengers and 2 crew members were killed. And the crash investigation revealed that the pitch of the aircraft couldn't be controlled because of incorrect elevator rigging, and the aircraft had excessive rearward CG, center of gravity. So further investigation revealed that only 2 days earlier, the aircraft underwent a Detail 6 maintenance procedure, which involved the rigging of the elevator control cables. So that's scary. 2 days earlier, they were messing with the elevator, and then the aircraft was having flight control issues. The elevator was not rigged appropriately, which resulted in the downward deflection being limited. The aircraft took off normally, but soon after takeoff, the pilots could not control the pitch. So we know 2 days before they were working on this, and then they couldn't control the pitch. And depending on your level of aviation knowledge, your elevator and the control cables, that's going to give you the deflection to bring the aircraft up or down to control the pitch. When the pilots tried to control the pitch, the limited range of motion of the elevator prevented them from turning the nose down. So the NTSB highlighted numerous human factors that contributed to the crash, like workplace norms, complacency, and the lack of knowledge. So the analysis of human factors. Norms, we said, are common workplace activities that differ from official procedure and technical data. So the mechanic skipped several key steps and did not rig the elevator after the inspection, which is just kind of grossly negligent, to be honest, to skip the steps for the elevator and then not rigging it, knowing the importance of the flight control surfaces. That's very negligent. We discussed complacency previously, and we said complacency often occurs after someone's become comfortable in the workplace and no longer remains vigilant and aware to potential risks and dangers. And the inspector failed in his duties to objectively ensure maintenance was performed safely and in accordance with technical data. So the inspector in this case was actually the person who was training the mechanic. So he was training him, but he was also the inspector. So they didn't have that honest and objective second set of eyes to ensure that things were done correctly. There was a lack of knowledge. The lack of knowledge is lack of satisfactory information to safely complete a task. The individual who was completing the task was being trained on it at the same time. And then there was lack of resources, which is the absence of necessary personnel, information, tools, and equipment to safely and effectively perform maintenance. The NTSB cited maintenance facility was critically understaffed for the amount of work they were contracted to perform, meaning they were running here, there, everywhere. They were all spread very thin. So, a biblical perspective, the NTSB noted a workplace culture that facilitated deviating from approved maintenance procedures. They noted that many key steps had been skipped and the follow-on rigging was never completed. Again, critical because the rigging of the elevator controls the pitch of the aircraft, pitch is too high, you'll stall out, and you can crash the aircraft. Exodus 23:2 offers guidance on not following the actions of the misguided and warns of following the crowd doing wrong. If the individual performing the work or the inspector who followed up afterwards had ignored inappropriate workplace norms and had completed their duties, the crash may have been prevented. So we have a few discussion prompts about this case study. So what happens when an individual's ethical beliefs conflict with the norms of the organization? You might get pushback, you might get friction. What does that look like? The NTSB stated that a workplace had clear lack of resources. So how could leaders in the shop have better ensured their employees had the necessary resources to safely perform them? Do you get them like more tools, more equipment? Do you get more people? Do they communicate more to understand better? Like, how should they have handled that to avoid this? How could the biblical principle of good stewardship impact the outcome of the scenario? And then Proverb 27:17 states that iron sharpens iron. How can aircraft maintenance technicians use this principle to foster a culture of workplace accountability and integrity? And then our key takeaways from this. The lesson from Air Midwest 481 serves an important reminder of the importance of human factors for aviation mechanics. Don't create workarounds or deviate from the technical manuals, even if others do so. It's important to have someone quality control the work that has been completed for safety. The person who was checking the mechanic's work in this instance was also the person who was training him on it. Ensure adequate resources such as staffing, tools, technical information to safely perform maintenance. Human factors knowledge, like what was covered in Lesson 1, could have been instrumental in preventing this accident from occurring. Key elements such as norms, lack of knowledge, and complacency were primary contributors to this accident. Understanding these factors allow for proactive action to be taken to prevent mishaps before they happen. This is my list of references. Thank you.